Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are back, y'all. We are back for another review of Love After Lockup. Love After Lockup, y'all. Season 5, episode 37. And they are calling this episode Love Me Not. They have Shantae over there picking the rose petals off the road, talking about he loves me not. Girl, what are we, 10 years old? Are we 10 years old, Shantae? Good Lord. We got a lot to talk about, y'all. This episode was all over the place. We had Shantae picking rose petals off a rose. We had True being the next coming of Keith Sweat, falling down on his knees saying, baby, I'm sorry, take me back. We have poor Arthur over here having a PTSD, a nervous breakdown, and finally looking at Hope with all that pink hair talking about, I think that pink hair was giving him a shock too, but that was sad to see him crashing and burning like that. He said he institutionalized. We got over here this episode. We had, oh good Lord, the worst of all, Zariah. Something wrong with Zariah. Something is wrong with Zariah. We're going to talk about her too. And we had Bianca and Daniel. Her voice gets on my nerves. I barely want to talk about her, so who knows when I'll talk about her, but she gets on my nerves. Something about Bianca that just, it irritates me. Maybe it's her voice. Letitia girl over here finding out that jailhouse lawyer didn't do shit for her. Christine over here, girl, Christine, with that jacked up lip and that jacked up body over here demanding things that people keep spending money on attorneys for her. She's another one. She's irritating. She does need to get locked in the closet. Last week I was saying, Julian, don't be locking her in the closet. This week, Julian, put her butt up in the closet and lock the door. Lock the door because she's a hot mess too. But let's get going, y'all. Let's get going at the top. And we're going to start first talking about True and Shantae, because that's how the show began. The show began with True saying, baby, I'm on my way. I know he said he had a 6-hour drive to get to Shantae. I know he was playing Keith Sweat all the way there. I know he was. I know he had it blasting in the car so he could get ready for when he showed up at Shantae's house. He said, I always wanted to make some twins. So he was happy. You know what? He didn't blink. He said, let me tell you something. I can handle twins. If I handle 13 years in prison, I can handle some doggone twins. And baby, I'm on my way. What y'all think? Do you think he's being true? We keep saying True is true. Is he being true to come to Shantae because he really does want to be there for Shantae, there for the kids, there to be an upstanding gentleman? Or is he just coming to Shantae because his parole officer said, you better get to the house where you said you was going to stay, otherwise we're going to take your butt back to jail? Is he just going there because he needs a place to stay? Because, I don't know. He was kind of having a funky living arrangement with some other girl back in the other city town he was in. And now all of a sudden he rushing to Shantae. But I'm going to tell y'all, I've liked True from the beginning. I really have liked True from the beginning. And I think he's sincere. I think once he found out he had some twins coming, I think he tried to kick it into another gear. Because one thing True has been, even though I might not have always liked all the moves he made, he's been honest about his move. I haven't found True to be a 100% of a liar. The only time True started backpedaling is when he found out Shantae lied. Once she found out Shantae was lying about what she really wanted on the outside, he backpedaled a little bit. But you know what? For the most part, I actually like True. So True got in his car. He drove 5 hours listening to Keith Sweat all the way there. And he said he does regret the breakup with Shantae. He said, I just need a little bit of time. I need a little bit of time to sow my wild oats out here in these streets. And it only took True about 3 months to figure out ain't shit out here. True figured it out in 2 months that ain't nothing out here. But you got people out here on these dating scenes for 4, 5, 6 years and still trying to figure out. True figured it out real quick that, hey, there really ain't a whole lot to pick from out here. I might need to settle. See, everybody else don't want to settle out here. True was like, I might need to settle. And Shantae over here trying to play hardball with True. But guess what, True? Shantae, you going to need to settle too. Because Shantae, really girl, Shantae, what kind of options you got? You got 6 kids. You about to have twins by an ex-felon that did 13 years. That is telling us that he don't have no real job. The only job he has is hustling and gambling and going to the casino. And girl, what you think? You think you got other options to go out and get you another kind of man? Shantae, girl, you ain't got no options. Who cares where that rose petal ends? He loves me not. You better take the deal, Shantae. You better take the deal. You better say yes to this man and let him help you raise these twins. I don't know what kind of games you playing, Shantae, thinking you got some real options out here. You ain't got a lot of options. People be trying to play hardball and they ain't even got the big joker in their hand. You ever play some cards with some people? They be out there bluffing like they got the ace, the big joker, the little joker, and you find out all they had was a jack or a queen. That's Shantae, girl. You ain't got a king. You ain't got an ace. You ain't got a little joker. You ain't got no high joker. Girl, you better accept the deal that True is offering you. But True showed up, y'all. He got his Mac Daddy on. He said, he wants to be there for her and the kids. He says he don't want to throw this away. He said, baby, I don't want to throw this away. I want to keep it going. And he says, I apologize. And I take full responsibility of the things that I did. And I like that about True. I like that he took accountability. But what I didn't like that Shantae didn't admit nothing she did wrong. Shantae got a lot of pride. This is why she was faking it the whole time with True. Shantae wants to appear she got it all together, but she's a hot mess. She's a hot mess because she going over there getting her advice from rose petals. Does he love me? Does he love me not? Girl, is that the decision? Is that how you about to make this decision, whether or not what rose petal you end up on? Shantae likes to have the appearance that she's got it all together. Remember when she was faking it like she had all this money, come to find out she was broke, she was getting evicted. And then she trying to act like she got a whole lot of options outside of True, and that she don't take no responsibilities for trying to be the jail warden on the outside with True. She should have said, I messed up too. I was trying to control you too much. I went about it the wrong way. It was because I was afraid and I was insecure, and I don't want to be that person either. Why can't Shantae admit to her shit? Why she just got to sit back and act like it's all true? Shantae need to grow up. Isn't she older than True too? She need to grow up. But she says, I want you to show some actions. I just don't want to hear you talk about it. I want you to be about it, True. I'll need to see some actions for you. Well, Shantae, we need some actions from you too. Because first of all, girl, I don't even know why you wasn't on no birth control. I really don't know that. So to be honest with you, you need to show a higher level of responsibility too. Because I'm sure these kids, you going to consider them a blessing to you because kids are blessings. But girl, this didn't have to happen. We didn't have to be here. So girl, you need to take some responsibility too. You need to take some responsibility, you. And the first thing she want to know is, were you talking to anyone over these 3 months that we was broken up? Hell yeah, he was talking to people. Shantae, what you think? He was doing more than talking. He was talking. He was sexing them. He was texting them. He was going out with him. He was doing it all, Shantae. What difference does it make, girl? You act like you got a whole lot of options. You act like he should have been a monk all this time. You was broken up. You was all the way broken up. You was on a break, all the way break. So I don't know. Shantae sure acts like her deck is stacked with a bunch of high jokers and low joker. And she ain't got nothing but a jack, a 10 and a jack, barely a queen. True was saying he was laying it on thick. He says, you the woman I want. You the woman I need. I went out with all these women. I figured out that they ain't got nothing on you, Shantae. You everything I need. And Shantae's head is spinning. She don't know what to believe. Should I believe him? Should I believe him not? Does he love me? Does he love me not? He said, you know what? What I realize is I'm a better person with you in my life. I am a better person with you in my life. Even though you do try to be a warden with me, Shantae, I do need to hear some of this. And that is true. I'm going to say this because we know the problem with True is that he doesn't listen. He don't listen to wise counsel. The problem is because Shantae is such a jail warden, when she does speak, it can sometimes just sound like nagging all the time because she don't know when to speak up and when not to speak up. You got to pick your point, Shantae. You can't always be the one offering a criticism. True went out, tried to cook her this, this steak omelet. He said, let me introduce you to some elevated prison food. He said, in prison, we didn't have all these types of different cheeses, but Shantae, I'm going to cook you a meal. And he went over there, went to that grocery store, and he realized how much inflation is. He said, dang, inflation done hit these grocery markets, but that's okay. I'm going to get these groceries, and I'm going to cook Shantae a steak omelet. He cooks the steak omelet, and Shantae got to complain about the steak omelet. She got to say to the man, oh, is this supposed to be your best dish? Shantae like to put True down so she can elevate herself. Now she want to be known as the best cook. That's what I mean. Shantae's pride. She never can really show any vulnerability, even though she got a whole lot of weak spots. I'm telling you, she walk around acting like she got the big joker and the little joker in her hand. And she really doesn't. She's sitting over here complaining about the man's steak omelet. Why, Shantae? Why you got to say that? Why you got to say, I'm telling y'all, don't never criticize no man's cooking. Because you know what happens when you start criticizing a man's cooking? That means he'll stop cooking and you got to do all the cooking. Don't do that. Don't do that. If his food is nasty, take one bite of it. But if you keep complaining about his cooking, then he won't want to cook no more. And then next thing you know, it's going to be all on you. That's one thing women need to learn. The minute you start criticizing a man, the way he maybe take care of a baby, guess what he stopped doing? That's fine. I stopped taking care of the baby. A lot of women want men to step up and do stuff. Clean, cook, help with the child care. And the minute the men step up, comb the kids' hair or put some clothes on the kids, the women complain about the way he's doing it. Oh, you didn't dress her right. You didn't comb her hair right. You didn't do this right. You didn't wash the dishes right. You didn't mop right. And then guess what he stops doing? He stops doing it. And the next thing you know, you got to do all of it. Y'all better pick your poison. You better pick your poison. And Shantae over here complaining about this steak omelet. Girl, you better eat it. Take one bite if you don't like the rest. Take a bite and tell them, ooh, I'm stuffed already. I'm stuffed already. But baby, this was good. You did a good job. Hey, you want the rest of mine? Because I know you can eat for me and you too. Go ahead and eat the rest because I'm stuffed. It's not like Shantae can't lose a few pounds, but maybe she shouldn't. She is with child. She probably do need to get all her nutrients together. But she over here talking about, you can go over here and sleep on the couch. You can't sleep with me in the bed. Girl, you pregnant with his twins. You are pregnant with his twins and you trying to still run around acting like you got the big joker and the little joker. Girl, he going to be in your bed on night two. This, as I said, Shantae walks around with all this pride and ego and she really ain't got no shots to call. She better say yes to True. I don't care where that rose petal ends up, where it ends up on he loves me not. That's fine. That's fine if you don't think he really loves you, but you're going to need some help with these kids, raising these kids. Shantae, what's the point of going out and hiring a babysitter and paying all this money every week to keep your kids when you're going to have True there to keep your kids? All he do is gamble. All he doing is gambling and going to the casino. He can do that at night and keep your kids during the day. Because Shantae, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be back at that 9-to-5 job. This going to be your life, Shantae. Because True ain't going to get no 9-to-5. That ain't in True. He'd already told you he can't take orders. He can't follow direction. So I don't know where he's going to work where he don't want to follow direction of anyone. He going to be a hustler for life. You might as well let him start keeping them babies and you can go on back and become the manager of Popeyes. I'm sorry, Shantae. That's your life. That's your life. You might as well go on and get it. Go on and get it, Shantae. But you know who else needs a wake-up call? Zariah. What the heck is going on with Zariah?
I'm not going to Buffalo. Leave me alone. Pack your and get out.
Zariah would only have to tell me one time to leave her alone, pack my stuff, and get the F out. She would only have to say it one time and she'd be looking at my backside. Zariah. Troy needs to leave Zariah. Troy needs to leave Zariah with a quickness. Zariah over here creating all this problem. All these problems. We got two problems, Zariah. We got a problem with You in this attitude, and we got a problem with your skin. Both. They might be related. They really might be related. Zariah might have a hormonal problem, and maybe that hormonal problem is jacking up her brain and her emotions and her common sense, and it's also jacking up that skin. Either way, Zariah, girl, what is the problem? Just like that Flavor Flav mom said, girl, what's the problem?
You can't put him out.
Yes,
It's
I
supposed to
can.
be your house.
His name not on no lease. I could go and be with somebody else who can actually do something for me. Tired of dealing with drama. He out of jail. He can do whatever he wants.
Girl, what is the problem?
Girl, you another one out here acting like you working with a high joker and a low joker. You ain't working with a high joker and low joker, Zariah. Who the heck want to be with you? All these people trying to control these prisoners and acting like they such a hot commodity out here in these streets, and these prisoners ain't good enough for them. Well, if these prisoners ain't good enough for you, then you should have never got with them in the first place, Zariah. Zariah worried about the wrong things. Like I said, what Zariah needs to be doing is she need to be worrying about that skin she got, all that going on, and she need to be worrying about all these emotional ups and downs. I'm with the Flavor Flav mom. Girl, you can't put him out. She goes, yes, I can. His name ain't on no lease. She better be glad I ain't no landlord. Because if I was a landlord, you sure right, Zariah. His name ain't on your lease. So, yeah, go ahead and put him out. I'd be like, I'm going to be coming over here, Troy, to save you. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put you out and let Zariah sit over here by herself and figure this out. What the heck is she doing? All this man really wanted to do was go meet his daughter that he ain't seen in 7 years. And what Zariah does is Zariah tries to create such a horrible situation that eventually everyone says, that's fine, we won't go. That's what she was trying to do. She was trying to create such a horrible environment that everyone would get so upset that they would just say, forget it, let's not do it. That's what she was trying to do. I don't know what Zariah wants. Zariah wants Troy to adopt her son, but then Troy can't go even see his own doggone daughter. Girl, like I said, maybe it's hormonal. I'm going to give her a break. Maybe it's hormonal. Like I said, maybe that's what's contributing to all this emotional up and down. Maybe it's what's contributing to all these things on her face. Zariah don't just have pimples. Zariah has cysts, okay? And sometimes that is very, very much coming from overactive hormones in the body. I don't know what Zariah's eating. I don't know what she's drinking. I don't know what she's doing, but she needs to go to a nutritionist. She needs to go to a natural, a medicine doctor, something. She ain't 14 no more. It should not be looking like this. She over here getting Troy talking about you appease the mother. Well, he gonna have to appease her somewhat to come see the child. What she think? You think he ain't got to get along with that mother to go see that baby after he been gone for 7 years? He probably ain't got no visitation rights. He gonna have to appease her. He is gonna have to come on her schedule. Yes, he is. Until he can get back into the good graces and prove himself. This man just got out of prison, and you think he doesn't have to appeal to that mother in some kind of way? Just because you didn't have no rules, regulations, stipulations, Zariah, don't mean that other women don't. Zariah over here having a full-on meltdown, thinking that this man should abandon his daughter but adopt her son, and say, well, that's not really what I want. It is what you want, because you're causing so much disruption that's what you're trying to plan for. I couldn't believe she said, I ain't going to Baltimore. I ain't going to Buffalo, wherever it is, Buffalo, New York. I ain't going, but you can pack your bags and get the F out. Ooh. Good thing he did leave and go take a walk. Good. You know what? These prisoners have really learned some conflict resolution. I'm going to tell you, they have better conflict resolution than these people on the outside. These people on the outside is going off, dropping F-bombs, acting a fool. And it really is the men who are learning how to walk away from conflict. They really did learn this in prison. They know how to make their feet walking, go back to their cell, and get out of trouble. Because we've seen several of them do it. But instead, these ladies don't know how to control their emotions. It's the prisoners who are having more self-control than the people on the outside. I couldn't believe the Flavor Flav mom was making sense this weekend. She said, y'all gonna have to give me a gummy. I heard that she's the one talking sick. She may be high, she may be drunk, but she's talking more sense than Zariah at this point. She's like, he gonna have to compromise with the baby mama. Tell it, mama. He is gonna have to compromise with the baby mama. She's like, girl, you need to get me some gummies, and while you at it, you might need to take one or two your own self. And Zariah over here talking about my mom and daddy told me don't chase no man. What are you talking about, Zariah? You done chased a man all the way to prison. If that ain't chasing a man, what is chasing a man? Zariah act like we forgot the way she even got with Troy. She over here talking about Troy, how he's selfish and all this other kind of. The only person looking real selfish is her. Talking about, I'm tired of being the one to compromise. I'm tired of being the one to. Girl, he only been out of prison for 3 days. What's the compromise that you've had to do? Besides the one that you didn't sign up for? Because if you talking about all the 7 years of compromise that you did while he was in prison, you signed up for that. You the one that got with him. You signed up for that compromise. And now you trying to put it on his back like you did him a favor. No, you should have never sought him out in the first place. If you wasn't willing to do all this work, Zariah, while he was in prison, then you shouldn't have signed up for it. Now he only been out of prison, 3 days? And you talk about you already tired of compromising. 3 days worth of compromising and you tired? Like I said, I knew Zariah was going to be a problem when that man came home and she made him sit on that coochie toilet. I knew she was going to be a problem then. That right then told me she trying to break this man down, control this man, and make this man fall at her knees. He don't want to do all this arguing. Troy's over here talking about, I don't want to do all this arguing. He said, I did my time. He said, I did my time in prison. I ain't going to let it do me down outside in these streets. He said, I already served my years. She worried about what Troy's talking on the phone with that girl, Yana. He probably over there telling her how crazy you are. That's probably what he is talking about. This relationship with Zariah gonna be harder than the prison time Troy did. Troy, pack your bags, Troy, because it ain't gonna get no better. Because this woman right here is never gonna let there be peace between you and your daughter. It ain't gonna never be no peace. At least not until she gets them hormones under control. Don't come back until her skin is clear, Troy. Troy, don't come back till her skin is clear. And once her skin is clear, then you'll know that her insides are clear. Because right now, she's batshit crazy. Batshit crazy. And we don't want to call him batshit crazy when we're talking about Arthur. But we do know that he's suffering from some severe PTSD. Y'all drop down in my comments and let me know that Arthur done gone back to jail, y'all. Somebody done told me the story that in real life, hoping Arthur don't make it, and that Arthur is back in jail in real life. Something went down real bad with them. A gun was involved, allegedly. All this is allegedly, because this is all that we heard on some YouTube channel. Allegedly, a gun's involved. Hope somehow had a gun. Then I guess Arthur might have got the gun from her. Somehow or another, Hope got shot in the foot or somewhere, some place where it wasn't fatal or huge. And next thing you know, Troy was on the run again. Not Troy. Arthur was on the run again, just like before. The cops pulled him over. He had the gun in his car or on his possession, and he back in jail for possession of a firearm, and he's a felon. Back in jail, y'all. Who knows how it went down. But after watching this episode with the whole PTSD, when he was looking with them big old eyes, looking like he saw a ghost, and he was saying that even the people on the street was looking like demons to him, something ain't right with Arthur. Something ain't right with Arthur. I don't know what went wrong in Arthur when he was in prison, y'all. I think some stuff went down. I know he's telling us that one of the things that happened to him is he saw a man die in front of him, saw the life leave from his body. I think some more happened to Arthur. I think Arthur was attacked in prison himself. I do. I think he's experienced not just trauma that he's seen. I think he's also experienced trauma that he's felt. Because Arthur's real sensitive. He is. And what he's saying is that you can't show no weakness in prison. But I think Arthur probably did show some weakness in prison. And that's kind of what got him taken advantage of. You know, when he was out there having his breakdown, I noticed that he used the word Allah. So I don't know who Arthur joined up with in prison. Maybe he joined up with the Muslims. I hear you got to join up with a group in prison to get protected. Like you either got to be in a gang, or you got to go with the Muslims, or you got to go with something, right? You got to have like a group of protection in the prison. So I wonder if if Arthur joined up with the Muslims in the prison to get some form of protection, because he said that, you know, when they first went to the fabric store, and this was supposed to be a nice outing for him, he and Hope, and he was excited because he was talking about how he used to sew in prison. And when he started talking about the things he used to sew in prison, like the beanies and the turtlenecks and stuff like that, that reminds me of him sewing for the beanies. I think those beanies, or the Muslims, don't they wear those beanies on their head? So I think that's the group that he joined up with. But the minute he got there and Hope was on that phone talking to her sister and trying to pretend like Arthur wasn't nowhere around and she was hiding Arthur got upset. He immediately became, upset and jealous. Like, well, why you hiding me? Why you hiding me? And Arthur's sensitive. Arthur is real sensitive. I'm not saying that he couldn't have felt some way about what was going on with Hope, but I think it's a whole nother level. I do. And he told her, he was accusing her of living a whole double life. Well, if you could hide your sister or hide me from your sister, what else are you hiding? He up there sneaking through her closet looking for pictures. That mama really got in his head because Hope cheated on him when he was in prison. That you know what? That shouldn't even be counted. When you're in prison for 7 years, at that point in time, you should just call it a situationship. A situationship. Arthur is out here trying to hold Hope accountable to what she did when he was in prison for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. That's the wrong expectation, Arthur. I really don't agree with it. And now he's coming out here snooping, trying to snoop through pictures and stuff, just like a female does. Arthur's real sensitive. I don't know what was going on with Arthur in prison, but I'm telling you, it was more than seeing a man die in prison. It's a lot more than that. Something happened to Arthur. I think he was violated. I'm going to say it. I think he was violated in prison. And all this PTSD he has is more than what he's saying. He was institutionalized, all right, in a lot of different ways. That's just my opinion. It don't mean it's the fact or the truth. It's just my opinion. And then you got Hope over here, challenging his manhood. You see, she goes and gets him this bookcase he needs to put together. And then when he's trying to figure out how to put it together, she's over here talking about, well, this is the kind of stuff you said you was going to be able to do. You was going to be able to fix stuff for me. See, Hope is trying to say, where's your manhood? Hope is already sensing some sensitivity. She's sensing some, some stuff that's not so masculine. And so now she's over here challenging him to put this bookcase together and challenging his manhood. And he's getting fidgety. He's getting real fidgety. He's starting to get a little bit nervous because I think what he's starting to see is Hope is starting to pick up on some of this, these female vibes from Arthur, and she don't like it, and she's challenging it. And this is when his PTSD started to kick in. This is when his trauma really started to elevate, because I think what he was being triggered on is Hope is seeing his weakness, just like in prison, people saw his weakness. You see, I think Hope is in a lot of ways, when she said, you don't know how to put together no bookcase, she was calling him a punk. That's what she was doing. She was kind of calling him a punk in another kind of way. And, he got triggered because I think he was called a punk in prison. I think he was. And I think he got violated, y'all. I think he got violated for it. And the minute Hope started calling him a punk in a lot of ways, that's when he started getting triggered, and he was like, you can't show no weakness. You can't expose yourself. And now next thing you know, he's doing to Hope what he had to do in prison. He has to put up walls. He's got to stop communicating. He's got to try to put on an act so he can survive. So just like he had to put on an act and survive in prison, now he's outside of prison. And now the other person calling him a punk is Hope. He's Hope. And so now he's got to put up a wall with her too. Remember, Hope is saying you can't put up no bookcase. And Hope is always also saying, why you letting your mama run you? See, Hope has been calling Arthur a punk or weak in a lot of ways. She's been calling him weak in a whole lot of ways. And she really been harping on this thing with his mama. Why you let your mama run you? Why your mama got to tell you what to do? Why your mama got to tell you got to stay out all night and you should be coming home to me? See, Hope is playing the male in the relationship. She's a truck driver. She's the big, tough person. And then Arthur over here is the seamstress who all he wants to do is sew and has some tears coming down every 5 minutes, and Hope ain't cried yet. And he's getting triggered. He's getting real triggered. And what he thought was, I would be able to come out of prison and be myself. But what he's doing is he's realizing I can't come out of prison and be myself, because just like the prisoners at prison were calling me punks, now I got my own girl calling me a punk. And Hope was cheating on him. Hope was cheating on him, and so there was no allegiance to that either. And now we find out in real life, Hope had a gun. Hope had a whole gun. Hope pulled a gun on him, just like a crazy man will pull a gun. So I hear he was trying to leave her. He was trying to get away from her, and she pulled a gun, and something about, well, if you're not going to be with me, you're not going to be with no one else. Isn't that what crazy murder-suicide men say to women? Isn't that what crazy murder-suicide men say to women? I don't know if it really happened. This is all just allegedly gossip, rumor. It may not even be true. But this is the story floating around. This is a bad deal. This is a bad deal. He's right. He got PTSD. He was broken down psychologically, and you'll never be the same. They broke him down in prison. I'm telling you, they broke him down in prison. And I don't know what they made of Arthur when he was in prison. Who knows who he became and to what in prison. And I think he's feeling like that's what he's going to become to Hope too. Just like he was victimized in prison. I think he's looking at Hope and saying, she just like the prisoners. And now here she is about to do violence on me with a gun. And he panicked. He better tell his whole story. If he's trying to get out of prison for having a gun in the car, being afraid, fleeing with PTSD, he better come clean with what happened in prison. And he better come clean on how Hope triggered him. Maybe that will help him get a shorter sentence. I don't know what's going to happen with him being in prison, but that might be his best route. And when he gets out, he needs to stop dealing. He needs to stop dealing with Hope. The mama said, you don't owe this woman nothing. She's trying to control you. The mama saw it. But the problem with both of these women, both the mama and Hope, they both try to control them. They were both fighting for control. So I don't really look at the mama as any better than Hope, because they both were fighting for control of Arthur. And what Arthur needs to do is have some time and control of himself, where no one is controlling him. I think he was controlled in prison, and I think he's being controlled by Hope in a lot of ways. She's trying to control him, but the mama was doing the same old thing. So if he does ever get back out of prison again, Arthur actually needs to break free from all these people, all of them, and find his ability to control himself and not be at the mercy of anyone. Not at the mercy of Hope, not at the mercy of his mama, no one, and not at the mercy of no other man in prison for whatever is going on. I feel sorry for Arthur. I really do. I was wondering, we were all wondering why Arthur had that triangle on his head. We never did figure out. We don't know what it is. And I never understood, why would a man get a triangle put on his head like that? And I'm starting to believe that somebody else put that triangle on his head. That's what I'm starting to believe. I almost believe that Arthur was branded in prison. That's a marker of who he belongs to in prison. That's almost what I believe, that triangle on his forehead was something he didn't choose, but it's something that was done to him, because I just don't understand why a person would do that to themselves. What meaning does it have? And I almost believe that maybe somebody put that triangle on his head. It's a marking. It's a marking. Somebody wanted to mark him as, let everybody know, this man right here, he belongs to me. He belongs to me. But the other person who's got mental issues is that Christine. I thank you for all my medical doctors dropping in the comments, letting me know that Christine twig she got with her mouth is from what did he tell me? What did he tell me? He told me it was from psychotic drugs. Like it could be an after effect. Let's say you had to get put on meds because you were like schizophrenic, paranoid schizophrenic, and they had to put you on psychotic meds. This is one of the side effects of them, so that this could be a side effect. So now we find out that Christine not only was a bank robber, a thief, and was addicted to like illicit drugs, illegal drugs. Come to find out, she was probably also being treated for like multiple personality disorders. There's a good chance of it. That's where that kind. I was wondering. I kept saying, Christina act like she's still high right now, but that's what they told me. And Christine is another one out here acting like she playing with a high joker and low joker. Christine, girl. I don't know who Christine thinks who would want her. Christine is crazy. She's not thankful. She's entitled. She got what is going on? I don't want to talk about Christine's body because you know what I want to say about Christine's body? It wouldn't be no problem if she were a nice person. Let me say that. Let's really say it, because it's really not about her body. It's when you add that body with that bad attitude. That's when it looks real ugly. That's when her body looks real ugly. It's actually when you combine that body with that bad attitude. She got knock knees. Okay. She got a big old belly in the front. She got a bad attitude. She got a twitch with her mouth. Okay. And then she running around talking about, I thought all this was going to get taken care of me. I thought when I got out of prison, you would have been able to pay for a lawyer in Ohio so I could get my 2 kids there, a lawyer in West Virginia so I could get those kids there, and I wouldn't have to work or do nothing. You had everything covered. Girl, how, when, where, what? What you talking about? Julian over here talking about, girl, you ought to be thankful. Money's tight. I done spent over $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on you, on these attorneys, plus the money I was sending you while in prison, and you over here saying it's not enough. You want more. Christine is greedy. That's why she robbed them banks. That's why she money hungry. She gonna be back robbing the bank again. In fact, I heard someone else told me, allegedly, once again, rumor gossip, that that old man Julian got arrested too because Christine got him in there stealing from Walmart. Remember when he was so excited about going to look at how Christine robbed that bank, and they were reenacting the robbery outside the bank, and next thing you know, security had to come over and say, who are these fools out here with a hoodie on in the bank parking lot, out here reenacting a bank robbery in the bank parking lot? The RoboCop police, the security people had to come over and shoo them away from the parking lot. And you know what? Julian was so fascinated by it. I thought that was weird then. Now we find out in real life, possibly he's over here stealing from Walmart. Julian, he need to get his kids taken away from him too. Where's that ex-wife? Ex-wife, go back to court and file for sole custody. Go back to court and file for sole custody, because right now Julian's being influenced by this woman over here, Christine. And I'm telling you, Christine is a narcissist. She's a narcissist. She thinks everything revolves around her. She's greedy. She's money hungry. And she about to really do a job on Julian. Julian need to put her in the closet like he said he was going to do. Hide her away in the closet. He over here talking about, we need 2 incomes. Even if it ain't full time, you need to work. Christine like, why do I need to work? You said you was going to take care of all this. We're going back on the streets. Throw her back. Throw her back in the streets, Julian. You about to lose everything, Julian. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your kids. You're going to lose your whole life over this woman. This is ridiculous. He's a doggone fool. She over here talking about she feel let down and that Julian is hiding something from her. Girl, like I said, she thinks she working with the high joker, and she ain't working with nothing. Nothing. And poor Letitia, she done figured out she ain't working with nothing either. She over here crying over this $1,000 she paid this jailhouse lawyer. Sorry, Letitia, the $1,000 is gone. You should have never done it in the first place. I don't know why she thought she could pay $1,000 and get somebody to file briefs and all this other kind of stuff, paperwork for $1,000, and now she over here talking about she got scammed. Girl, I can't stand when people get scammed when they paying pennies on the dollar. Girl, $1,000, what did you expect? This is as bad as when people was going out getting them BBLs and then for cheap $500, $600, $700, and then being surprised that all people did put in them was put that adhesive glue inside of them and pump them up. And now they mad talking about, oh, this was supposed to be what I was supposed to get. Girl, you only paid $400 for the BBL. She over here paying $1,000 for all these legal services and then mad about what kind of service she got. She went over there to that old white man attorney. He said, girl, maybe you shouldn't be hiring no a jailhouse paralegal. Then once she get home, she realized she got scammed again. She got scammed again. Poor Letitia. She said, first I got scammed by the jailhouse lawyer. Then I got scammed by these fraudster landlords who renting this house to me. She been paying rent. She been paying rent for 2 months. Come to find out that the landlord's been taking her rent, pocketing it, but not paying the mortgage on the house. Not paying the mortgage on the house. This is a problem, y'all. This is a problem in the housing market. These banks need to start sending notices to the house. Let me tell you, because that's wrong. That's wrong to be paying the landlord, and the landlord ain't even paying the mortgage. And then next thing you know, Letitia got 2 months to move out because the house is about to get foreclosed on. Woo! Letitia, girl, stay in that house. Let them evict you. Go ahead and squat in that house and let them evict you, girl. Because you've been done wrong, Letitia. You've been done wrong. Don't rush your kids out. Take your time, girl. Go take your time. Go on over there to legal aid. Go on over there to legal aid. Get you a free lawyer. Don't go to no jailhouse lawyer. Don't go to no paralegal. Go on over there to legal aid. Tell them what happened. Tell them you've been giving your money to this landlord. Tell them you paid them a whole lot of money in advance. Tell them. Tell them. So you can buy yourself a couple of extra months in this house, even if the bank does foreclose. Even if it does it's going to take them a while to foreclose anyway. It's going to take them a good 2 to 6 months. Go get you some legal aid. And somebody else that don't listen is this Bianca over here. She up here meeting with Daniel's family. Talking about she going to have a drink. I'm going to have a drink. Hook or crook, I'm going to have a drink. I don't care if he's an alcoholic. What is her whole storyline? That's it. It's all about he's an alcoholic. He can't drink. They don't want people drinking around him. And she's saying, too bad, I'm a drink. He ain't going to bring my life down. I'm a drink. What else is there to Bianca? We really don't even need her as a couple on the show. I'm really tired of her. Her voice is irritating. Her conversation is irritating. Her thinking is irritating. Everything about Bianca is irritating to me. Irritating. That poor mama Daniel, though, she said, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I might as well die if I lose my next son. Her last son died of this fentanyl overdose. This fentanyl is out here is killing people. It really is killing people. I heard it's cheap too. $5. $5. Sign up to die for $5 is what's going on out here in these streets. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But you know, Bianca ain't got no sense. When you heard the story from Bianca, because we all know she done had this serious accident. That's where she gets all her money from, because she sued an attorney for, well, not sued the attorney. She sued somebody. That's how she got all her money from that accident she was in when she was a passenger with another drunk driver. But this is where you know Bianca ain't got no sense. What Bianca said was when she got in the car with her friend who was a drunk driver, she said she didn't even know her friend was drunk until her friend passed out. Girl, you a fool. You was either drunk too or you a fool. Because there's a whole lot of signs before someone passes out from being drunk that they're drunk. So if you didn't notice no signs that your friend was too drunk to drive, and the first time you saw she was drunk was when she passed out at the wheel, then more than likely you was drunk too. Bianca keep running around talking about she ain't got no drinking problem, but I think she does. She got a drinking problem because she sat there and met those family when she knew that the family's primary concern was going to be her drinking, and she ordered a vodka and cranberry. She said, bartender, give me a vodka and cranberry, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a drink right in front of these parents and let them know that I like to drink. And then she said, y'all don't want no drink? Something wrong with Bianca. I'm telling you, it's more. She chose Daniel for a reason. She chose him for a reason. Daniel might be afraid of Bianca. I think Bianca's setting up Daniel. I think she's setting up Daniel to make Daniel her victim too. I think it's some crazy psychological stuff that Bianca is doing, because the stuff that she does feels deliberate. She's doing it deliberately, and I feel like she's doing it to get back at people and punish people. And I think what she's going to do is she's going to wait till Daniel gets out of prison, and then what she's going to do is everything she wanted to do to that person who hit the people who was drunk driving, she's going to want to do it to Daniel. Daniel going to end up being a victim of her. We'll see. We shall see. But anyway, that's it, y'all. That's all I got for this episode. And drop down in your comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe so you'll know when I drop my next video. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.